Mandalorian and Grogu. Star Wars will soon reappear.
But the fans aren't there, and the outlook is grim, I fear.
Projected below Solo. Is anyone surprised?
At Disney's own hands, Star Wars met its demise. I mean, we know it's a zombie at this point.
Yeah, but this is interesting because, so you guys already probably have heard about The Mandalorian and Grogu and how it's projected to open at 80 billion, which would be tracking lower than Solo: A Star Wars Story, which lost money for Disney. But I think what's more interesting here, okay, is put aside the fact that the majority of Star Wars fans have kind of moved on from Star Wars. And I'm saying this knowing full well there are still fans of Star Wars and what Disney does. But the majority of Star Wars fans have left the building. Whatever remains are still Star Wars fans. They're just not the majority. They're not the same amount that used to be there. It's just not a thing. They have been trying to market towards a certain demographic. However, what if we told you that that same demographic doesn't give a crap about Star Wars at all?
I mean, is anyone surprised?
No. So this is actually crazy because we're talking about kids from ages 15 to 17. And there was an article that was behind a paywall, but I have magical powers that can get behind paywalls. So I read the entire article. But there was lots of things they read. It was quizzing certain children on what they felt about movies, and Star Wars was brought up, and 15 to 17-year-olds were asked about The Mandalorian and Grogu. And
do you want to ask the questions? Ask the question and I can read the answers?
Yes. So I'm going to read right here. So the person asks, how are we feeling about Star Wars? To which we have the children's replying.
Daniel, I like the old stuff, but the new stuff, nah, I'm not too excited for The Mandalorian. I never watched it personally. Jacob, anything that came out after I was born isn't that great.
Yikes.
Wyatt, Star Wars has been quiet lately, but I liked Andor a lot. What is the new one that they're... Baby Yoda is creepy. At the Oscars, he looked like an animatronic.
Well, I hate to break it to you.
Elise, in Project Hail Mary, Rocky looked like he was an actual entity that could be a part of the movie, and it didn't take me out of it. But when I'm watching the trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm like, this is taking me out of it, how bad it is.
You heard it here. Nobody can tell you, anybody who tells you, okay, Star Wars is alive and well, you're lying. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who will still like Star Wars, like the originals, or even like the stuff that Disney puts out. This literally is the demographic that Disney is trying to court. And they are basically saying, we don't even care. We find Baby Grogu creepy, and we don't even know. Wyatt doesn't even know what the name of the show is. Jacob doesn't care. Daniel says, I like the old stuff. The new stuff isn't good. And then Elise, who's a girl, who's the target audience of Baby Yoda, is like, I think he's creepy.
Baby Yoda's supposed to be cute, and a lot of girls have found him cute. This girl thinks it's creepy, and I don't blame her.
Do you want to know what I think is so sad?
What is so
sad? What a
sad?
missed potential. Because we now have this ultra powerful Baby Yoda Grogu, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does he affect the galaxy? Well, he just kind of goes around with the Mandalorian who's supposed to protect him. Then he gets given to Luke, and then gets taken back, and then adopts the Mandalorian's last name, and that's it. We never hear from him again.
Except in Yoda years, he's still an infant. Can't even speak yet.
Yes, but explain this to me. You have this all-powerful force entity, right, that could tip the tides of war or whatever, and he's just completely not a part of it. You want to know why? These people in charge of Star Wars don't care about it. They don't. And I'm not saying that to say that there aren't people who genuinely want to make good products, but when it comes to Disney Star Wars, a lot of the people don't care. they don't care about canon. There are discussions where they've been talking to people and say they don't care about canon. If they don't care about the franchise, it shows in what they create.
Oh,
and
yes.
we're seeing a huge disconnect, not just with the original audience for Star Wars, who are barely there, but with the audience that's left. The audience you were catering to doesn't even like it.
We all saw this coming with the way they were going. It is both sad and satisfying to actually see the proof.
Yes, but it's so crazy because there are still people online who would make you think that, oh, Star Wars is doing great. And it's just not. Like, I wish I could say it was doing well and that it was just whatever. Because you know what? I like Star Wars for the most part, or I did. I would love for it to be thriving and doing well. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's just objectively not.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is we're now finally getting, like they're doing in Galaxy's Edge, we're finally getting, they finally like, you know what? Maybe we should bring some of the original trilogy people into the park.
You think? You should have based that section of the park on the original trilogy to begin with. Make the restaurant into the cantina. People would instantly flock to that.
That was the original idea for Galaxy's Edge. But here's the funniest thing, okay? We also had where I saw this, someone took a screenshot of this and posted this. And I face palmed so hard, okay? It was someone announcing that the Black Spire outpost in Galaxy's Edge had removed all First Order signage and stuff like that, right?
Really?
And the person was quote tweeted that, and that's what the image was saying how, shaking their head, why are you catering to the people who don't even like Star Wars? We're the people who like the sequels, and we like the Disney Plus shows, and you're taking away to cater to the chuds. And it's like,
no, they're trying to cater to the original fans who gave Star Wars its life.
No, they're not. They're objectively not. You know what they're catering to?
What are they catering to?
Money. Disney want money. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anybody. They want to print money. And if they're not printing money, they will eventually go, what can we do to print money? I know. Let's bring the original trilogy characters that everybody loves to Galaxy's Edge to give people an actual reason to go there. And you know what's the craziest thing? I know we're getting off a tangent here. You know what's the craziest thing about Galaxy's Edge?
What is the craziest thing?
I bring this up every time because nobody talks about this, and it's such a shame. Do you know that cosplay is banned in Galaxy's Edge?
Yes, I did know that. You're not allowed to show up dressed like a Jedi. You're
not allowed to show up dressed like a stormtrooper. You're not allowed to show up dressed like a Jedi.
Whereas in Universal, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, yes, everyone in wizarding robes.
But think about that. You're going to Galaxy's Edge to live Star Wars, right? To be a part of Star Wars. And they're like, I'm sorry, you can't wear that here. I can understand why they wanted to like regulate certain costumes for like staff and stuff like that. I could understand that. But you could do things to make those visually distinct.
Yeah, like they have in Wizarding World of Harry Potter, where the staff in the Wizarding World are dressed as workers in the different shops, whereas everyone else is just dressed like a Hogwarts student.
I just couldn't believe when I heard that. It's like, not only do you not have the original trilogy characters in Galaxy's Edge, and you know what's even crazier?
What?
They didn't have John Williams music playing there until recently.
That is true, too.
Could you believe that? Like, the most iconic music, the most iconic characters. I'm sorry, you can like the sequel trilogy, but those are not the most iconic characters, and they never will be.
Not to mention, John Williams' score ranks among the top classical music scores of all time.
It's crazy. And I just think, like, I get it. Like, Disney has different rules than Universal when it comes to cosplay and stuff like that. And I understand this kind of stuff. I just think, like,
Universal's rules are part of the reason it's so successful. People have fun there.
Yeah, but there can be other reasons why cosplay isn't allowed in certain places. I just think, like, banning it outright is kind of a silly move. I think they could regulate it a little better. Even kids don't want Star Wars anymore. They're not going to go see it. And that's why it's tracking low.
Yeah. How are they going to come back from this, I wonder, if at all?
They're not. I'm sorry. I think Star Wars is way too damaged to ever return to the way it was. And I think even if they backtrack now, it's too late.
Quite.
The damage has been done, and I wish it was different. I wish it was different.
I know.
Like the video, break the algorithm spell, share with your crew. Escape life's hell, from spooky memes to advice obscure. Here's your dark solace of humor as a cure.